You so much, Zoe, and appreciate everybody joining today and the council having us. As Zoe has referenced and Sarah has referenced a couple of times, you've probably seen some new faces, some new names, and different roles. So we wanted to take this opportunity to introduce ourselves, let you know who you can reach out to if you have any questions or comments. So just kind of starting off with myself as a quick introduction. I'm Kelly Welker. I am now Deputy Director and Chief of Staff here at DMHA. Have taken over the role from Becky Buhner, who has moved on to the Criminal Justice Institute. Been in this role since roughly about April. However, have been with the division for just over 9 years. I hit 9 years in May. Started off as Bureau Chief of Addiction, then went to Assistant Director of Addiction, then to Division Director of Addiction, which encompassed the addiction prevention and recovery, and then moved into this role. So have seen a lot of names. I know a lot of you have been around for a long time, worked with a lot of the agencies in the addiction realm. So excited to learn more kind of on the mental health side. Sarah and I are learning that funding and all of that kind of fun stuff now, which mental health funds recovery, I learned, is quite an interesting funding source. So that has been my joy the past couple week or two. So I do have a slide at the end that I'm going to show, and the council is more than welcome to share it out. It just has our name and our contact information and a couple of the programs that everybody oversees throughout. But just want everybody to know that we are very open. We love to collaborate. So if there are any ever issues, questions, anything like that, feel free to reach out to any of us. If we are not the correct person, we can definitely direct you to who the correct person is. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Nikki Howenstein so she can introduce herself and kind of some of the programs that she oversees.
Thanks, Kelly. Hi, Nikki Howenstein. I just noticed that my name is cut off, so thanks for calling that out. I am the Division Director of Mental Health and Wellness here at DMHA. I have been at DMHA for 4.5 years. I started out as the Director of Recovery, so I had overseen lived experience initiatives, our recovery infrastructure throughout the state, and so I started in this new role end of March. And so I oversee CCBHC, CMHC, the crisis continuum, so our 988 mobile crisis teams and crisis receiving stabilization. Oversee the team that does the mental health block grant, and so suicide prevention also. And so just a lot of different programs that I know overlap with all of you all. So I'm just excited to be here and get to know some more people.
Thank you, Nikki. And Jenna, I will go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Jenna Ward, the Division Director for Quality Improvement and Program Integrity here at the division. So I actually know, I think, quite a few of you from the quality perspective. So I've been with the division now 7 years. Started off managing the HCBS team and then transitioned into the Assistant Director for Quality Improvement position. My position here at the division, my new title is actually a brand new position. And so much of the role of my previous role is the same. So I still have the quality improvement teams on my team. The only teams that were addition to my team now is Recovery Works is now under my team. And then I have Bethany Getz is on my team with school-based programming. And then I also have housing and workforce currently on my team. So I think that's the only addition, Kelly, unless there's something I'm missing or somebody else can let me know. But yeah, so many of you are familiar with the portal, or I hope you're familiar with the portal. love it or hate it. I hope you're familiar with it. But that is part of my responsibility, or my team is the DMHA provider portal. So I know I've spoken with a lot of you too for the portal things. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Jenna. And I will go ahead and turn it over to Mark.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Loggins. I think I've met with a lot of you folks, or I've come, I've worked with some of your teams over the last 8.5 years. I've been with DMHA. I am the Division Director of Addiction Prevention and Recovery Services here at DMHA. Like I said, I've been here with the division for about 8.5 years. I am taking over the role that Kelly previously had. I started working under the SOAR grant, actually the 21st Century Cures grant a long time ago, and then the SOAR grant, and then I've been the Assistant Director of Addiction Services for the last 3 years. And so on my team, under the addiction side, my team covers the SOAR grant, the State Opioid Response Grant, sorry, the Substance Use Prevention, Treatment, and Recovery Services Block Grant, OTP, gambling, opioid settlement, and then also the Therapeutic Psilocybin Research Fund, which is a relatively new thing that was legislatively enacted, and then also the prevention team and the recovery team. And so we are always open to collaborate. And we are excited about continuing on the great work and partnering with all of your organizations. So if you ever have any questions, concerns, anything you want to discuss, my team is very adept, and we are more than happy to work together. So thank you.
Thanks, Mark. So as you can see, we've had a lot of changes, but a lot of us have been here for many years. And with kind of the promotion of Jenna moving up, Mark moving up, and Nikki moving up, that gave us the opportunity to replace kind of our assistant director. So some kind of late and breaking news that have happened recently. Danica Foltz is now over recovery, so she took over Nikki's previous position. Lori Goins, who used to be on our opioid treatment program team, and then for about the past 2 years has been the training coordinator for DMHA, has stepped into the role as assistant director of addiction. And Elaine and Jenna, you're going to have to help me because I can never say her last name.
Trepanier.
Thank you. Has taken over Jenna's previous role. So we are very excited to have them in their new roles and their positions. They bring a lot of experience, excited to get started in what they are doing. So as you can see, a lot of changes. We've done a lot of promotions within. We are hoping to have Nikki's team is a little lean at the moment, but we are getting that built up. So hopefully we'll have two new assistant directors starting with her team, hopefully within the next month or so. So we will have some more kind of new faces and names for you to learn. But very excited to continue this collaboration and partnership that we have. So Zoe, if you did not know, we are a very short and efficient team here. So we are happy to answer questions. I'm happy to pull up the slide, like I said, which just kind of highlights the programs that they oversee. And one other thing I did want to mention, as Jenna was kind of explaining her role and Nikki was explaining her role, we did do some kind of consolidating and combining. So if you've been around for a while, which I know many of you have, we used to have Cirilla Blackman and then Lindsay Potts. So we kind of combined their two positions. So that's what Nikki's position was kind of morphed into. And then we just kind of did some reorganization when Jenna took over in her new role, adding Recovery Works and the school-based underneath her to go along with the and workforce and housing to go along with the QAQI. So at that, Zoe, I can kind of turn it
Well,
back to you, or if
yeah,
anybody has
yeah,
questions.
no, Kelly, I appreciate it. I guess the couple questions for you, and first and foremost, thank you to everyone for introducing yourself. But one question that I would like to ask each of you to maybe answer is, what could you use from our members? What could you use from our network? Because as much as we're always knocking on your door saying, hey, 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 we need this, especially me, I know that. But what could you use from all of us to help in your new roles, to help you in being successful? Because really, the fact is, we don't have a successful division of mental health and addiction. We don't have successful services for those that we serve, right? And so, how can we help you in your roles? Does anyone want to answer that question?
I can start, and please, everybody else, jump in. And I think this has already happened, but just ask kind of for continued grace as we learn our new roles and everything. And I, I am a type of person where I tend to ask a lot of questions, and that's the best way for me to learn and process. So it's not questioning the job, the ability, what your agency is doing. It's knowledge for me. So I always try and preface it with that because I know sometimes I don't ever want it to come off that I'm questioning what you're doing. This is more knowledge for me. Having been on the addiction side for so long, I'm comfortable in that realm. The mental health, the CCBHC, I've just really kind of started getting pulled into that. And I talked with Zoe when we had coffee last. I think I'm going to try and do a little mini road tour with her. So she might be reaching out to some of you so I can kind of come visit, see what it's like at some of your facilities. I know I've been to some of your facilities before, but looking forward to doing that again. So I think those are the biggest things for me, and just kind of a little patience. So we are, um, I'm preaching to the choir when I say we are all overworked and trying to maintain that work life balance. So I will do my best to get responses to you in a very timely manner, but just kind of showing a little bit of that because I think all of our inboxes are consistently blowing up with emails nonstop. So I think those are the biggest things for me. Everybody has always been very welcoming and gracious when I've had the opportunities to go to council meetings or come to the facility. So I greatly appreciate that.
Great, Kelly. Anyone else want to answer that question? What would be helpful?
Sure, I can jump in. So, for me, I think there are lots of changes, whether that's the portal or we're looking at IAC changes or whatever. If I've been in meetings with some of you, you've probably heard me talk about IAC and how old IAC is and all the things. So, I think there are opportunities to share some feedback on those areas, whether that's IAC, whether it's portal. And I know I've been on quality committee meetings before where I listened to feedback from folks about the portal and things like that. And I want everybody to know I do take that feedback. I try to see if it's something that we're able to do or modify in the portal. It might not feel that way all the time because a lot of the changes that we make in the portal are things that we do take a lot of time to get that in the plan or the scope of what the work is. So I do take that feedback though. So I think for me, those particular areas would be helpful. If you can send me an email with thoughts that you have, I'm perfectly open to that. And that helps us create systems that are better, and that's important. And it's important to have feedback from folks that are doing the work. That's always a big thing. I think not just for me, but I think the division as a whole, we want to know from the folks that are doing the work. That helps us make better programs and do things better. So
Yeah, and thank you, Jenna. Thank you for always being willing to come to committee meetings and have those conversations. I would say that from where it started to where it is now, it has definitely improved. So I appreciate the quality committee's work on that alongside you. So thank you for that. Nikki or Mark, anything you guys want to add?
I will just echo Kelly for sure about, just some patience as we're all, kind of getting to know our new role. So, Stephen Holland had been on my team and Lana Leip. And so with those two positions open, I know I am getting their emails, but if those could be directed towards me, if there is a need. I know that Stephen worked a lot with you all, and I'm getting so many emails, just kind of all of them filtering into me. So if they're slow, again, apologies. But since they're gone, I am the new contact until they're replaced. And so anything with, I know, reporting and different things like that that are done monthly. If there's a need, direct those towards me, and I will make sure that we, get those things out to everyone and questions answered. So, and then obviously when we get some new folks in here, maybe we can come back and introduce them, especially Stephen Holland's old position. I know he worked a lot with the centers. So.
Wow, I couldn't imagine adding two more additional people to my inbox. That just sounds, I say all the time, it's death by email. That would definitely be my final death, probably adding two more. And that's a busy inbox, I know. So, yes, patience on that for sure. And I do know the crisis committee, Nikki, has had some things and questions. And so, those of you who are on the crisis committee for now, Nikki is covering Lana's, inbox and those crisis issues, as well as Sarah. So please use them, but also know the crisis roles are being filled. And so while Nikki's team is lean, we need to continue to just be supportive of that and know that we will get there with those answers.
Thanks.
Mark, anything?
And my response is going to sound exactly like everyone else's, so I'll save you guys the time. But thank you guys, and happy to collaborate, and thank you for your patience during this transition, and looking forward to continue working with you.
Awesome. Well, now I would like to open it up to the membership to see if there are any questions, concerns, anything that's been pressing that maybe you have emailed that you haven't gotten an answer on that needs to go to the top, anything such as that. With 59 of you on, I'm sure there's a question.
I have a question.
Tracy?
For redesignation for mobile crisis teams.
Oh, yes.
I sent this into 988 questions box, but I know you probably haven't gotten a chance to get to it yet. The designation slide that went out looked like we should wait until the new forms come out, but our designation expires at the end of July. So are we supposed to be using old forms till then, or are we supposed to just wait and we're just in an extended period? I just wanted to know where we're supposed to be at for that redesignation.
Jenna, where did we land on that? I know this conversation has gone on internal, so I understand the confusion.
Yeah, so they're in the process of getting that final form approved. I would say that so mobile crisis designation currently isn't in the portal. That's actually one of the applications we're getting ready to work on build out. So I would say that we would be able to work with centers that have coming up. To me, it doesn't make sense for you to have to issue a new certificate. When that form comes out, you're going to sign it. We'd have to issue a new one anyways. I think the form's pretty close to approval. So I would say if you email Nikki or I directly, we can work with the team on extending that certificate if we need to. Because to me, it doesn't make sense if we're going to be signing a new agreement. It may even happen by the end of this month because I know they've been working on getting that approved for a couple months now.
Great, that's helpful.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions such as that? Hey, you know what? We could knock out maybe about 10 or so emails and then we could all maybe have another day of time. Anybody else have anything out there?
Hello, Zoe. This is Art Fuller from Hamilton.
Hello, Art.
Good morning, everyone. So, just have a quick question. It's related to the CCRP grant. I know that we're moving to like a new platform to renew that grant, and we've received that information. I was just wondering, was there like a general timeline on receiving the renewal, I guess, continuation agreement on the CCRP grant?
So Nikki, I can
Is that mine?
start. Or I was gonna say I can kind of help start, and if you want to fill in the blanks that I've missed. So even though we have had the CCRP grant in the past, they have now renamed it. Sorry, so SAMHSA has now renamed it. So legislation was passed a year or two ago, where now state budget committee has to approve any what they consider new grants. So this is considered a new grant since it has a new name, even though in essence it has the same requirements that it has. So our goal is to have everything done and submitted. We have to get it through state budget agency and into a portal and be added to the August agenda for state budget committee. And then our CFO and either Sarah or myself will go attend that state budget committee and have to present on the grant to see if we can get approval to, if we are awarded that grant through SAMHSA, then if we are allowed to accept and start utilizing those funds. So we have, I don't know if you're all aware, SAMHSA came out fast and furious with some grants the beginning of July, with about each having a 24 to 28 day turnaround time. So the teams have been working feverishly on getting those done. We are currently working on 4 grants. Luckily, only 2 have to go in front of state budget committee. 2 we have had in the past. So that's kind of a non-answer for you, Art, but we are hoping, we will hopefully find out tomorrow if we are added to the August state budget committee meeting. As of now, I don't believe there is a date set for that meeting. I checked last night. It still has the June meeting date on there. But I am happy to keep in touch with Zoe and let her know if and when we get put on that agenda for August. And we typically get the answer. They do the whole committee meeting and then at the very end vote to see if it gets approved. So we typically find out within that day or the very next day if we're able to accept the award.
Thanks for that information. We may need to reach out and just have an additional follow-up conversation, because that grant is also connected to CCVHC, PPS rate, like those types of things.
Okay.
So we're likely going to need to make sure that everyone's on the same page with that.
Absolutely. More than happy to have kind of a one-off conversation meeting with you.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Kelly, that actually was really helpful information to share member-wide, and something we need to keep in mind regarding the federal legislation of Senate Bill 5 definitely slows down the timeline of some of this funding. And so one of the grants that some members have asked that did come out in that, I think, July push is the additional crisis. And that is also on your list too, the crisis and mobile support, if I'm remembering correctly, as well as our members are applying for the CCBHC grants. And we have worked with DMHA, on that too. So just keep that all in mind from a timeline, folks, about some of this is out of our circle of control as far as where that lands. So that's a really helpful reminder. What other questions in our last few minutes together?
So I did just have one other thing, and
Sure.
this is just the point of contact. So related to just the CCBHC service mix, who would be our best point of contact at this time, just to kind of receive confirmation on that at an individual and aggregate level, just best point of contact.
So at this time, I would say Nikki, and she can work with her team then on who to guide you. But Nikki can kind of be that conduit.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Art. Anything else from our membership? Okay, well, I did want to just wrap up with a couple things as far as my thanks for DMHA. Also, all of you should have the readiness checklist for certified community behavioral health clinics. We talked about those a lot at our conference and committee meetings last week. I want to thank DMHA for getting those readiness checklists out to us. I know that that was a heavy lift. And if there are any questions or concerns regarding those, Nancy and I have been compiling a list so that DMHA gets one list versus maybe 24 lists to be able to be helpful with that from a timeline standpoint. So please make sure to pay that feedback forward. Also wanted to remind folks of the additional crisis funding that we were able to advocate for the 16 non-demo sites. And thank you to Nikki and Kelly and the team for their work on helping and navigating the additional crisis dollars. And all of you should have received emails on that. And then secondly, I wanted to really lift up the importance of the SAMHSA CCBHC grants to all of you. The bridge grant that DMHA and the council had wrapped up on June 30th. And so there is no longer any current bridge funding. And that SAMHSA timing of that funding, I think, could be beneficial to a lot of our members. And so just wanted to remind folks of that. And so with those reminders, I wanted to again say thank you to everyone who joined. And we do have a Starbucks gift winner here. Let me pull that up. That is Kristen from Oaklawn. Kristen, are you still on with us? Yay! So Kristen, thank you. And if we can all raise our cups and cheer to DMHA and to our members, and let's continue our mission of leadership, advocacy, and collaboration together. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for all that you do. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.